Hi, how is everyone today? I am so excited that you all are here with us. I have an extremely special guest. She's out of the UK, and I will tell you, if you're looking for the alternative healing lifestyle, holistic is important to you, doing all things natural, you have come to the right place. This is our How to Heal Naturally Holiday Edition. So I just want to welcome Einav Avante, and she's here with us to actually share tips and tricks like over the season, how to get through it, not to get like so crazy overwhelmed. And when you hear her story, you're going to be really moved. And we do this because we want you to know that you are not alone in your journey. Thank you so much for joining us. How exciting is this?
Hi.
So tell us. How
I'm
did
so
you get
excited to be here.
started in this field? I mean, I can already see like your brightness, like your light coming from you. Is this something that you've always has always been a part of your life? Like, did you grow up with a family that was into holistic alternative living?
Not at all. Not at all. I had to think about that for a moment. No,
Right?
no. But really the way that my journey started was very unusual, I think, or at least unusual for me. Never saw it coming. I was more in IT for a long time. I was a user experience designer, and I was mainly working with people, how to make better systems and stuff. And then at some point I realized that the connection with the people was so much more rewarding than the machine stuff. And so I decided to jump ship, and I moved on to do the coaching and mentoring training. There, I must just kind of do a little detour. As part of my NLP master practitioner of NLP training, we were told about the mind-body connection, and there we saw, our teachers gave us a demonstrations of, they demonstrated on one of my peers. She had a chronic pain of, I don't know, 7 out of 10 for about 14 years. And so in just 2 hours, just by asking about emotions and what did you do then? And how did you feel then? How did you feel now? Just kind of going backwards and forwards, her chronic pain just disappeared. All
Wow.
of a sudden, 2 hours from a 7 to 0, just like that. And I was mind blown. I was like, how is not everyone talking about this? This is
Yeah.
like, this is the thing. And I was so excited. And after I finished my training, I started getting in touch with people, in Facebook groups and stuff, and saying, hey, let's heal together.
Yeah.
And very quickly, I realized that people actually were a lot more attached to the illnesses than I had anticipated. And I wasn't ready to deal with all of that. It was very scary for me. And I was
Right.
like, okay. And then I moved on to actually the coaching, called myself a confidence and empowerment coach, and really worked with people about understanding the, negative voice versus the, alignment and soul path and all of that. And then did my coaching for a long time. And then one day I had a client that came to me with chronic pain. And I was like, okay, universe, you're obviously giving me a very clear sign that it's
Yeah.
time to go back to my passion. And just by working with him, he had 9, 10 chronic pain of levels of 9 to 10 out of 10
Wow.
constantly. And just with these conversations, with the coaching conversations, completely clear now. And I was like, right,
Amazing.
this is my thing. This is my thing. And
Yeah.
I started looking more about how people, it's the white coat syndrome, right? People go to see the doctors. The doctors say, oh, it's this, or I can't fix it, or, the doctors give the verdict, and people believe that. And that's it. And then they believe that their life is all doom and gloom. And I
Mhm.
want to say, hang on, I can't guarantee anything. I don't know, anything until I really go on with the person. But let's just see if there's another way. And that's really what got me started on this heal yourself naturally. How I can, with my coaching and now with my energy healing methods, how I can help you really heal in ways that you'd never seen or thought were possible.
That is amazing. So when you were feeling like there was more out there, I love how you're so vulnerable. You were like, it feels kind of scary, like something didn't, so was it like the emotion where you felt like, okay, feels a little awkward. It's a little different, you know, kind of uneasy feeling, but you had like that sense of peace inside you that this is where you're supposed to be. Would you say that that's kind of the emotion you were going through during that time, that transition?
You mean back then when I just finished my training and I
Yes.
was, yeah, I this was a little bit interesting really, because I was so convinced. I just saw this demonstration,
Okay,
with
yes.
my peer. I saw what you can do, and I was like, I understood the mind body connection so well. When if you understand how much stress, how much it can, what it can do to the
Mm,
body, you really can understand that there's ways to undo all of this.
yeah.
And so back then when I came to the Facebook groups and stuff, and I was so convinced in this was a good thing. Here I was with something that not everyone understood and not everyone knew, and I was like, I was sure I was going to that people were going to jump up and down for this idea to heal, heal
Right.
them naturally just by understanding their emotions. But yeah, when people got really angry really quickly, and I was like, I don't know, I didn't understand why, how come. But that taught me a huge lesson of how, if you have something in your identity level, like these people had, I better just let them be. And one woman said, she said, oh, it took me so many years to convince my families and my doctors that I have something seriously wrong with me. And all of a
Mm.
sudden here I was saying, hey, let's heal. She couldn't even handle it. And
Oh,
I
wow.
was like, you know, so it was a very important lesson. And now when people come to me, they're actually already coming to me when they believe that, they're fed up with the illnesses, and they wanna try something else.
I
And
love
so they already started on this journey of what it would be like when I don't have the illness or the pain constantly, in my life.
Yes. No, that's incredible because I can see what you're saying. Like, I feel like the work that you do, it's like the kind of work that if they haven't seen it and they're not familiar with it, they can be like so resistant to it. And then we're over here like, well, what do you have to lose? You're already in pain. You've already tried all these things. But you're right, there's just that block. And so it's a blessing that people are drawn to you, right? What you put out is what you attract, and what you're seeking is seeking you. So they're already like on the journey of knowing, okay, this is going to work for me. Like I have to trust that this is going to work for me. So you're like, as long as like the door is a little bit open and we can work, we can kind of like get in there. I love that. I love that. So when you actually end up having your clients, is there I love how you talk about too with like your empowerment coaching, but also confidence coaching, like being a confidence coach. That is such like a very like focused effort in coaching. What is all that about?
For me, so now I call myself now alignment coach, and it's the same thing really. But I believe that when we are operating, when we go through our lives and really connecting with our fears and limitations and compromises, we it's not us. We are diluting ourselves. We only kind of half, showing up to the world. But when we go back into who we are really meant to be, when we follow our soul, alignment, we we have no other choice but to be confident and show up, because we are who we are. So if we are looking at other people and we are comparing ourselves to others, we always end up thinking that they are better than us, and
Mm,
they have all of these things going. And when we do that, it means that we don't see ourselves.
right.
And actually, we are all completely unique. We are all here, with gifts and experiences and attitudes and things that no one else has. And if I just remember that when I come to meet someone, instead of looking at how wonderful and amazing they are, I say, hey, I'm also that. I am amazing in who I am. And when I allow myself to really connect with my powers and my gifts and my strengths, there's no comparison. You are great, I am great. It's all good. And so in this kind of conversation, it really helps you to recognize that you have a negative voice, and the negative
Mm,
voice is all the time trying to tell you that you're not good enough and pull you down, and really shut down any excitement or ideas that you have coming up. So, so I guess, we're talking about the holidays edition. So imagine that you are sitting there, with your family at the table, and your negative voice is constantly telling you, maybe your job is not good enough, or maybe your income is not enough, or look at your kids compared to the other people's kids, or
Right.
all of these conversations, and you listen to them, to that voice, and you allow it to impact you. Now, when you listen to the voice basically wants you to do today exactly what you've done yesterday. So
Okay.
if you've been in this kind of environment before and you were paying attention to these negative thoughts, you will do exactly again this time around. And I want to say, hang on, this negative voice doesn't know anything about you. It doesn't know that, everyone thinking so badly about you. And it doesn't know that everyone is judging you like you believe that
Right.
it does. So instead of connecting with all these fears and limitations and all of this negativity, why don't you connect to the other side of you, where there's love and there's alignment, and you show up in the way that you actually choose to show up. So, connect with people in a different way rather than just on how they used to see you when you were, in your worst years of your life, maybe, I don't know, teenage or something like that. So there's really, the invitation here is to not just follow the patterns and the habits that we end up leaving, but actually ask ourselves, how do I want to connect? What would be a better way to do all of this?
I love that. So during your journey, did you end up going through that same type of scenario? And is that why you do so well with your clients, because it's just so relatable? Did you end up going through a certain thing, or is this just like an intuitive gift that God's given you to be able to tap into that in others?
That's an interesting question. I guess when I started, the reason why I decided to choose the confidence part was because, of course, I was the exact opposite. I didn't have confidence. I grew up thinking, kind of believing that I was just not lovable and, not really, never had, room at the table, really. Until one day, it was just thinking about where it was basically, just as I decided to separate from my ex-husband. And I was very pleased about this separation. I was, I always say that I was not very proud of the marriage, but I was very proud of the divorce, because I was finally ready to say, actually, it wasn't it. I didn't, it wasn't good enough for me. But afterwards, I realized when he left, I realized that I was, so much for such a long time in this coupleship that I didn't really know who I was.
Yeah.
And then I decided to go and see a therapist. It was such a long time ago. I just found someone on the Yellow Pages. And this therapist ended up being completely drunk on our meeting. It
Oh
was,
gosh. No.
the
Oh,
fumes were just, it was so funny. And I thought to myself, well, I made my way here. I'm going to listen to what he has to say.
yeah.
And this drunken guy, he said something to me that changed my life forever. And he said to me, well, you're just lacking the powers of your own conviction. And
Mm.
I was like, oh my God, this is exactly it. I never believed in me. I always needed other people to tell me that I was right, or that I was good, or that was to really validate me. And
Mm.
here he was telling me, well, hang on, try it for yourself. And when he said that, it was like,
Yeah.
it was really incredible. And
Wow.
so what I then decided to do, I said, okay, I'm not allowing fear to be a guest at the table anymore.
That's good.
Enough.
That's good. Yeah.
And I decided to do this little game with myself. I said, if ever there's anything that is scaring me,
Hmm.
I'm going to ask myself a few questions. I'm going to ask, do you want to do it? Yes. Does it scare you? Yes. Is it going to kill you? Well, if yes, then please, abort plan. But if it wasn't going to kill me, then I was going to go for it just like that, with no hesitations, with no what ifs and what buts and all of that, nothing. And
That's
so all of a sudden, I've given myself this permission to do everything that scared me. I went on a diving course, and I, did diving of, crazy length,
love it.
and, did helicopter ride because I was terrified of going on helicopters. I went traveling by myself. I went to teach English as a foreign language. I went backpacking. I came and did my master's, all of these things that I would never have done, all of a sudden became available to me
Yeah.
because I decided to say yes to, to all of that.
I love that. So it was like you went out there and you made an intention. I love that. And I also, I think it's beautiful that it was like you had this therapist and like your first reaction was like, okay, like I just went through a little bit of trauma here, I mean, no one, what I mean? No one loves the divorce scene, you know what I'm saying? Even though it's like, it takes a stronger person to get out of a toxic situation than to stay in it 100%. But it's like you go to him and you're like, okay, this is like feeling a little off. But then he had some gems. It was like your heart was really open to just receive. And then when you actually did, I love that you were super proactive at it and you just went for it, and just was active in getting over those fears and just going for it. I love that. I love that. So what are some techniques that you want to share with our audience, some tricks and tips that they can kind of take with them over the holidays? You've already shared like so much, which is like such a blessing. But do you have some like tangible things that we can go into the holidays with?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the first thing, like I said, is the holidays can be very stressful.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time, the stress comes from when we are trying to, maybe because we're thinking it has to be perfect. So we're putting so much pressure on ourselves to perform or to create this thing that actually, maybe there is not even a chance that it can be, but the pressure is there. So we either want everything to be perfect, so it's perfectionism, or we are so stressed because of things, but actually they haven't happened yet. So it's really important to say, actually, has this happened yet? What is the reason for this stress?
Right.
And then you ask yourself, is there something that I can actually do about this? And if you can, then absolutely go ahead and do this. But otherwise, just really let it go, because otherwise you're just ruining so much, so many good days, basically, just with having all of this stress. And I truly believe that things always happen the way they're meant to happen. So really, it doesn't matter how stressed you are. If it's meant to happen, it will happen. And if it's not meant to happen, it's not going to happen.
Right.
So when you show up with a little bit more curiosity, then you actually have a chance to enjoy yourself, because who knows what's going to come up.
Yes.
So I definitely, my way is definitely the one that is more aligned with us. If there's stress, something is not really aligning.
Yes, that's so true. Yeah, stress is like the biggest component. So I'm so glad that you touched on that, because going into the holidays, it should just be like a magical time. Like that's what you're thinking, like it should. But so many of us, it's like we think of it, and then next thing you know, we're like in it, and then we're just like, oh my goodness, could this just end like yesterday, instead of being present. And so I love that you share like, why are you stressed? Like really take a moment to assess, why you're stressed. And also too, I love that you also talk about like, ask why. Like, why am I stressed? What's really going to happen? And, if it does happen, it's going to happen anyway. So why get stressed out? And, and I love the tagline that you just talk about, saying, just let it go. I mean, just let it go. It's not going to benefit you. It's definitely not going to benefit anyone around you, because you're just going to be a little spicy probably, And so just let it go. No, I absolutely love that. So tell us, like, Art, because you work so much with your clients and all of that, when you get up in the morning, do you have a certain routine that you do? Is there like kind of like a miracle morning? Is there a certain way that you ground yourself going into the day?
Actually, I have two things that I do nearly every day, and that is really, and actually it's the night before. So the first thing is that when I go to sleep, I always ask myself what was good about the day. I always want to finish it off on a good note. And it's sometimes days can be really quite, unpleasant or stressful. No, I don't want to say stressful, I want to say shitty really, but
Yeah. You're like, let's really break it down.
you know,
I love that.
get like that. But then still in all of that, there is always something that was really good. Maybe it's the connection with my daughters, or maybe it's, that I managed to go out with the dog for a walk, or, there's little things, but they're very important. So I really want to finish the day with on an app, what was the good things, 3 things that were good about the day. And that really helps me to just put everything in perspective. The other thing that I like to do also, not at night, but at the end of my day, is to really think for myself, what do I want to do tomorrow? And it's like kind of a contract nearly with myself of what I want to do the next day, which means that when I get up in the morning, I don't need to do this emotional contracting with myself.
Yes.
And so I finish the walking day and I say, okay, what do I want to achieve tomorrow? And I write it down. And then the next day it's already there. So I can just continue and pick up from where I left yesterday. It's just a little thing, but actually it really helps to connect and of course be very productive and very present, because I work for myself. I find it very helpful. But yeah.
I love that. No, I think that's so empowering too, like what you're talking about. Cause I was like, so what do you do in the morning? And you're like, well, actually it starts the night before, which is such a good, it's such a good, tool to actually put in our pocket, because it is so true. Like if we don't get that proper rest, or we go to bed and we're not in any kind of like thankfulness or all of that, then our sleep isn't good, our energy is all over the place, we're not in alignment, like what you talk about. And then we get up in the morning and it's like it takes like that much longer to get back on the path of the goal for the day. And then also too, like with having kids, right? It's like, you never know what's going to happen right when you wake up. I mean, ideally we like to be like, oh, we have a solid hour before the rest of the household, like, but you just never really fully know. Right. And so I love that you go to bed with intention. So when you wake up, it's on intention, it's like really focused right there. I love that. So audience, I just want to say that I know you all are like blown away like I am with all these great techniques and tips and just going into life. And even too, like some of you, I know I've got a lot of entrepreneurs on here that are in the holistic world. And I know that this is like really resonating with you, like with the story of, just, when you have a calling in your heart, like there's going to be a level of some like, what would you say the word is, like some like, oh, like a risk taking, like you have to take a risk, like it, just like going out there. But I love it that you actually like took the bull by the horns and just kind of like went for it, especially like in a space that, it's not all over the world right now, so it is a little bit of controversy going on there, but you found a, like you actually found, I mean, what I love most about what you've gone through is that you found your calling and you stayed to it and you just developed it through time. You just keep, like every day you're just developing it, So I just want to encourage you all out there too, that are going through that to, okay, there's like I have no idea where this noise is coming from. Okay, this is, sorry team. Okay. Where life is coming from. But what I love most about Einav and her story is that she just went for it. And I just want to encourage you all just to go for it, like just to really just embrace life and your calling and all that you're doing, and even these techniques and tips and going through your day. And I also know that I know you all are going to be like, okay, we do all this and now there's like a free giveaway here. Yes, there's actually a free giveaway. This is like so generous. So why don't you share with us about the free giveaway that you have for our audience?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. It's the giveaway is basically 3 lessons how to survive the holidays. And I wrote it down. Sorry. Yeah, sorry, it's here. So the first one is really about recognizing the 3 lessons. The first one is really about recognizing that you have a negative voice that is really just trying for you to do today exactly what you've done yesterday. So it's all the time going on that loop and I'm here to help you to recognize that you have another voice, and that is the voice of your soul, and it doesn't care really about all this negative voice, because it already knows that all you need to do is to trust it and to get going. And this can be on any level, if you need to go and see the family, or if you need to think for yourself, how to even financially survive this thing. There's so many things, but when you are aware of what voice you're listening to, when you're listening to the one that is not the negative voice, you actually are able to operate from alignment and harmony, which is so incredible. Then I want to talk about the second one. Is really about understanding habits and why we get into stressful situations that we basically got to before, how we repeating the patterns and how to break free of them. Yes, and then the last thing that I really always talk about is that it's very easy to get ourselves into situations and say it's other people's fault. They do this, they say that, it's all about them. Thinking about family table, as soon as I get there, my mom will say this, my dad will say that. We already kind of living the habits and the patterns of past behaviors. And I want to say, actually, no one can change, no one can influence how you are. It's actually your choice to to react to things in a certain way. So if someone is triggering you, let's think about why. What is it that you are allowing, to happen in that situation?
That
So
is
the
so
3
good.
lessons to how to survive the holidays is just some, I guess, spiritual boosting to how to survive it all.
I love it. I love it. It's so good. It's like you make it so simple, and your energy is like so you actually, like, you remind me of my best friends. Like, all my best friends, they're very like grounded and like, solid. And I'm like this like crazy pterodactyl, like all of them they're pulling me out. I love that. But I love like your energy. I love that you're super laser focused, and I love the way that you also explain things to our audience. So audience, we will have all of the contact information underneath, and then we'll also have the links about how to get the free giveaway. How can they find you?
So I work under Untangled Healing, also Untangled Coaching. That's the same thing, but yeah, I invite people to go and visit either of these websites, and there's all the information about me, some videos and stuff, and also, of course, the contact, book a chat kind of thing. That's probably the best place to go.
I love that. I love that. I will tell you, Einav, you have really just shed so much light on so many topics, and I can just really even feel just the energy of just calmness, going into the holidays, and no need to worry, the stress, just like let it go. But also too, I'm really excited about the free giveaway and having it all in audio. That's going to be really, really, really powerful. So audience, if you have any questions or concerns, or this resonates with you, do not hesitate to contact. We'll have all the information underneath, and literally you're going to love this gift. It's a free giveaway, and it's audio too, which is like really amazing. We're not asking you to read anything here. No, we're not. We're going to make it as easy as possible for you. Thank you so much for being here with us. You're absolutely amazing. I will tell you, so excited that you were on here with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been really lovely to be here. Thank you.